BattleTech.
BattleTech.
I'm gonna do like an aerial insertion to go kill Aquaman. Yeah, Garner, noted child soldier.
Indeedly do.
These are ice cold takes, but we can rage bait people who are casually into it.
Welcome to the Odysseus Legion Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the 12th episode of the Odysseus Legion Podcast. I'm your regular host, Nicholas, and joining me as usual are my co-hosts, Garner.
Yo.
And Luke.
Hello.
Today, we don't actually have a topic planned. We have a few things we're going to touch on, current events, games played, and tournament plans. But before we move into just a friendly, casual BattleTech conversation, what have you guys been up to, BattleTech or otherwise?
Painting. So much painting. And basing. Just trying to clear out a bunch of backlog stuff and fill up my display board, or not display boards, my display cases with stuff because I finally got extra shelves in because I've got a bunch of the IKEA Detolfs and the space is too large in between the shelves, so I ordered extra shelves, and then some of them came chipped and I had to get new ones, but then that lit a fire under my butt to finally finish my Oops All Jet Bikes Horse Heresy Army, get that finally eligible to put on 2 of those 18 shelves I ordered. Also reorganized half of my pile of shame for BattleTech, and then picked up the Cretan Lance, both Cretan Lances.
Oh, you get your awful little sword mechs as well.
I do. That I can never play in Odyssey. Cough, cough.
Yeah, we need them to come up with some Davian hatchet variants for you, and then we can have a fight with them.
I mean, I'll just bring really dumb TSM versions of things that shouldn't need TSM, but don't have stealth armor because I'm not Liao.
Yeah, well, listen. There's like one good stealth TSM mech in the game.
I'm saying not stealth.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Osel 6M versus 6D.
I know the one you're talking about.
So good.
You're a big fan of mechs with torso weapons and free arms.
I am. Big fan. Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Listen, it's everyone's favorite, most telegraphed headcapper in the game of walking up to someone and punching their head off. Unbridled aura. Anyway.
I'm stupid. It's the 6D. Why would I think that it was like the M? Why would I think the Mechs came up with this thing?
I have been recovering from plague. I don't know what I got. I finished painting up my curated command lance last week, and I am currently awaiting the arrival of the Ranger Lance because I ordered them in the wrong order. Like, there is one of these boxes that I am very excited for, and I'm sure Gardner is also very excited for. And there is one of them that I look at and I go, ooh, this is like cool for like faction lore reasons, but also I am deeply unexcited for basically every mech in this box except the Akuma to actually put on the tabletop. But they are very cool to paint. They're good mechs. I really like the Rokubi in terms of aesthetics. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
I have now played 2 Iliad matches. I'm excited we're going to play some more, as well as some practice Richmond Open matches this weekend. So I've got a whole bunch of games and things to be played and talk about. Not a lot of painting on my end, except for house painting, because that's something I do a lot of, but miniature painting, not really.
I mean, you did choose to sticker things instead of painting last night.
You wanted me to build Gunpla.
I said, here, I'm going to do hobby things. Here, you can maybe do that if you want. And then you dove in.
You said you should build that Gunpla I gave you.
Ooh, what Gundam did you get? I guess it's not technically a Gundam. That's like me calling like all of the characters in Legend of Zelda. What mobile suit did you get to paint?
I actually had a conversation about that with a coworker of mine who proceeded to call all giant robots Gundams. And we had to have a conversation about that. Like, the Power Rangers do not pilot Gundams, my friend.
Listen, it's fine.
There's a big difference between various mecha. The word you're looking for is mecha, not Gundam. But Sinanju Stein.
Oh no, you've given me something to look up now.
Or no, not the Sinanju Stein. I think just the Sinanju.
Ooh.
Yeah, just the Sinanju. I have the Sinanju Stein. The Sinanju Stein was the Earth Federation forces sort of mobile suit that was made, that was captured by remnants of Xeon and converted into the Sinanju.
This is very, like, raid boss tier MMO armor going on here.
Nerd.
Yeah, that's exactly what I am, Garner. That's a lot of gold trim.
Yep, it's piloted by a clone of Shar Azrael called Full Frontal, and he was known for piloting red mobile suits.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Why would it be anything else?
Oh, excuse me, not actually a clone. It was a person who's genetically altered and inserted with memories that were recorded from various pilot systems. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing of a different mecha property.
That's also just the most, like, Hideo Kojima ass name that's not in a Metal Gear thing. Full Frontal? Full Frontal?
Yep. And he's a curly-haired blonde guy with long hair and a mask.
I know what Shar Azrael looks like. Yeah, this is just... oh, God. Those are some locks. Jeez.
Yep. Now, I'm going to put out there for the universe and the records, this is a common refrain among agents and a lot of people. BattleTech Gunpla when?
Yeah. I mean, listen, that was how the model history for this game started. So, it makes sense that we return to that eventually. I mean, let's be very clear, they're gonna need someone who does better work than Leah, if they want that to be a thing.
Yes.
Like, they're good enough for what they're doing right now, but they're gonna need a better OEM manufacturer than the one they have at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, it is a way more elaborate, modeling process and everything, but my gosh, BattleTech's on the rise. Now might be the time to get some people into that, because last time we recorded an episode, it got lost into the ether of podcasting hell, which is just what happens sometimes, no matter what podcasting recording platform you use.
Yeah, they all suck.
The episode we lost was about list building. I released a little solo thing on the audio feed just to fill in the gaps, but are there a few pointers about list building you guys wanted to bring up?
My thing about list building is figure out what you want to do with your list and build around that. Is it you want to run this really cool mech, like maybe a Devastator 10, which you can't run in Iliad, sadly? Or do you want to build some type of themed force where you want to use racks or special ammo variants or something, and kind of find 2, maybe 3 units that fit what you're trying to go, and then build a supporting cast of characters, because everybody needs a friend.
Yes. So, I mean, the basic thoughts that I have for list building are always pretty simple, which is, first thing you need to do is you need to think about what win conditions are you playing towards, what are your outs. So in the case of any kind of competitive event, this is going to be read the packet, find out what the missions are, find out what they want from you. If you need durable territory control, you probably want to bring something in that territory. If there are objectives that require hands on your mechs, then bringing a bunch of clan omnis that are completely allergic to fingers, not a good idea. And then once you have an idea of what your kind of basic win parameters that you're trying to move towards are, start thinking about a way that you can be interested in achieving those, basically. For me, that tends to be either coming up with kind of a flavorful list of just like a bunch of stuff I think will be fun to run on the tabletop, or it can be, like Garner said, pick a unit you think is really cool that kind of fits within that win condition, or that doesn't fit within the win condition, and then build a list to support the hell out of it so you can win anyway.
Shoehorn it.
Yeah, you can always manage that, and I think at the end of the day, most of the... I shouldn't say all, because people do like their awful, terrible, no good, very bad mechs in this game, but most of the mechs that most people find cool tend to be at least capable of doing one thing. So usually you're not completely playing behind if you decide you're just going to shoehorn some random big nonsense into a list.
What, in your opinion, is one of those no good, very bad mechs
That everybody likes?
that a lot of people like? Yeah,
Urban mech. That's not hard.
that's an obvious one.
I mean, I disagree with that, but maybe that's because I'm your average person. I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think the urban mech is not... I think there is a position for it, because like just having an AC 10 that's very cheap is still a reasonably okay thing to have. However, I think for the most part, if you are playing with an urban mech, you are kind of necessarily stating out, like from the outset of the game, I'm here with this thing because it is my pet mech. I am not making this, like, this is maybe a choice that's informed by the needs of my list, but it probably is not the best choice. It's here because I think it's fun.
I think most people do that. I actually did have an urban mech as part of my Wrestlehog list, which it served a very specific function akin to battle armor, which is a defensive kind of an aerial denial, tool. Obviously, people feel safer walking up to an urban mech than they do elementals, but an urban mech occupying a position behind partial cover with an AC 10 that can, move around a little bit and hit between line for like 500 BV. The main opponent I used it against was actually Zess, and before it died to the Direwolf, it did a good amount of work. It was making shots, it was providing secondary cover, and acting as
Every
a target.
shot that it takes is not a shot that your real mechs are taking.
So my question for you would be, would you rather an urban mech over a Hetzer? Because I know for the most part I would rather a Hetzer.
I would rather an urban mech.
But
Urban mechs don't deal with motive crits. You can torso twist with them. You can...
Yeah, I
move
prefer the
up
urban mech over
up
Hetzer because the urban
terrain.
mech jumps.
Yeah, you can move terrain.
Well, move terrain is that's maybe a little bit generous for the urban mech's abilities.
It jumps. It can already
Yeah,
go
you
like
have
5
to.
times faster than a Hetzer.
This was a situation against Zess's Direwolf E with its assortment of medium pulse lasers, and the urban mech could engage with that thing outside of medium pulse laser range, or could jump behind a very hilly map. I chose a map very specifically to allow myself to choose my engagements with the Direwolf, and I could jump or move things in or out. And the urban mech was fantastic for that situation where a vehicle would not be. The vehicles do not deal with hills as well, and they can't really get partial cover and continue to engage. So,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing not at what you're saying, at the fact of how you deal with the Maguire Direwolf is with your cover and stuff. I think every game I've played against S, I've always picked the most open map possible.
Yeah, so you can't force him into a knife fight. But either way,
it was VIP Clash. I outranged him with a lot of my guns. Like pretty much every one of my units outranged and outmoved the direwolf. And engaging at range, I was favorably exchanging for a considerable amount of time until I got double tacked in my Black Knight, where I could no longer move out of pulse range, and so the exchanges started to decline, and I had been at the store for 6 hours at a certain point, and I was ready to go. So I just kind of like made less optimal choices, and it's like, let's just see what happens with the dot. Like, let's do something fun and cool, because this game is going to either end with my Berserker doing something cool, or the game is going to end with the Berserker dying and not doing something cool. One way or the other, but the game's going to end.
So, and I do hear you guys on the urban mech, and again, I am saying, like, as a mech, it's going to do something, but I tend to feel that the role that it fills is very niche, and it is not proportional to how much people fucking love it. Like, the reason someone is bringing an urban mech to the table is 9 times out of 10 going to be they think it's funny. And the fact
I absolutely agree.
And the fact that the urban mech can occasionally kill another mech is icing on the top of that.
The mech I think is awful that I see people love and use is the Kit Fox.
Yeah, that thing is fighting demons.
I mean, everybody makes fun of me for running a Mistlynx.
Oh no, like, okay, so here's the thing, is the Mistlynx is terrible, awful, no good, but it's also very cheap for a clan Omnimech. So it at least has that going for it. The problem with the Kit Fox is the Kit Fox is almost exactly as vulnerable as the Mistlynx is, but it has enough pod space that it can have, like, guns you need to take care of. There's a Kit Fox with a Gauss rifle and backup weapons.
There is.
Like, it has an amount of shoot on it that requires it to be answered, and it can never deal with the crackback.
The Mistlynx has roughly 10 less armor than the Kit Fox.
But the Mistlynx has, like, a relevant movement profile.
Yeah.
Yep.
It has a relevant...
And the Kit Fox is 5 tons heavier.
It has a relevant movement profile. Also, the absolute most expensive that a Mistlynx goes, granted, it is 1,700, but okay, so ignoring the one outlier of the J, 1,300 is kind of the ceiling, versus with the Kit Fox, your most expensive Kit Fox is running up to 1,900, and there are total of, what this looks like, 5 configs, ignoring that are more expensive than the most expensive Mistlynx, and also the cheapest Kit Fox is more expensive than most Mistlynx.
Yeah, and the Mistlynx has a base move speed 711. It jumps. The Kit Fox is a 6'9".
Yeah.
Most of them don't jump. And it's just, it ends up being, I phrase it as, if you're playing with only light mechs, maybe, but there's no situation that I've ever seen a Kit Fox and thought, yeah, this was the right mech for this position.
No, you're playing a Kit Fox because you need Op4 for a new player that is kind of threatening but cannot survive getting attacked. Like, that is the role of the Kit Fox, where it truly shines, is as a jobber in games that you are intentionally trying to throw.
And I'm extra sad because I think it looks really cool. I really like it. I like the mech. I just don't think it's good.
I can't get over the cockpit placement on it.
Yep. It's fishbowl, baby.
Oh, it's not a fishbowl. It's got the like the cockpit is that crack in the front of it. You need to pilot it like the diagram of Saddam Hussein's hiding place.
It's got a king crab type like big old cockpit.
Well, it would, but it's like, oh yeah, the only way you're fitting in this, if it's a light mech, is if you are lying down, or else it's just like basically a way of looking directly at what's going on at your feet, and the rest of it's just sensor inputs.
So I would make a Zoids reference right now, but I found out this week that Nicholas has never seen Zoids.
I see.
Luke, have you seen Zoids?
I'm going to say
I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that question.
the way he said that made that be a thing. So now I'm just sad. Some people just
Zoids,
didn't like Cartoon
Is that one of those shows with the giant robot Gundams?
Listen,
What?
We're talking about the lions that Voltron together, right?
No.
Or is that something else?
That's literally Voltron.
Okay?
I can't hear about Voltron without the theme song popping into my head.
Which version of it?
To me, there's only one.
Okay, so not the Netflix version.
I mean, Netflix one's not bad.
On one hand,
So Garner, do you have a mech that you think is just god awful that people like to use?
Not really, because I think that I like using most mechs, and a lot of people say my choices are dumb, so shrug.
listen, if we're gonna, I have a second answer to this question that we can use to rage bait people, which is, and this is mostly just because it gets massively glazed in the fluff, and it's just good enough that people want to use it more, but so many Marauders. Like, there are good Marauders out there. There are no good intro tech Marauders. The Davion one is as close as it gets, and it's fighting demons to be relevant against some of the other stuff you can get in intro tech.
Unless you're playing with quirks.
Oh yeah, if you're playing with quirks, yes, but on the other hand, the Marauder is cheating if you're playing with quirks, pretty much.
Yes.
And even then,
For those who don't know, quirks are kind of these weird fluff extra sort of abilities that mechs can get with optional rules, and I stress optional.
Like Locust can't be seen behind level 1 terrain.
Yep. It's called narrow/low profile, where if you hit on or next to the target number, so if the target number is 7, if you get a 7, 6, or 8, I believe, you deal half damage.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. It's yeah.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the Marauder then is it gets narrow, low profile. It also has command mech, which is very good because it gives you a bonus to your initiative rolls, and it has hyperextending actuators, which allows it to arm flip. Which is, that one is kind of whatever. Hyperextending actuator stuff is, for the most part, not super relevant. It technically lets it double tip on being better at melee and kind of okay at firing around itself, but that's not super relevant. It's command mech and narrow low profile are both incredibly good. Exposed weapon linkage is hilarious though when it happens, which is its negative quirk that it gets, which is anytime it gets hit in the section that has its AC5 has a chance of just breaking.
Awesome.
Oh, the AC5 also has a directional mount, which allows it to arm flip even though it's a torso-mounted weapon.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
So yeah, it's very good if you play with quirks, but if you do not play with quirks, most Marauders are very hot. Well, the sin of the Marauder in general is that it likes to have 3 big guns as an inner sphere heavy mech. And if you are going to have 3 big guns, especially like PPCs and autocannons, which is most of what it likes to play with, you need to make some very, very serious trade-offs in other parts of the mech. And as a result, they tend to be quite expensive and have pretty serious design flaws somewhere. The intro tech ones, almost all of them suffer from being way too hot for their own good. The 3R cannot advance and fire without slowing itself if it wants to use both of its particle cannons. And they tend to have very low side armor. And in the case of the 3R again, this means it has low side armor over top of a bare ton of ammo and a side torso, which we can talk about early versions of the game not including engine heat sinks as a concept, which would have added extra padding, but for most of the game's history, this means the Marauder tends to be a kind of glass-jawed and a bit of a paper tiger in intro tech fights, even though the lore suggests it is the best mech in the setting if you're looking for a heavy.
Actually, you know what? I got one.
Mm-hmm.
I got one. The Atlas.
Yep.
I got one. Perfect. I figured it out.
Let's swing. I mean, these are. Let's be clear. Like, if our audience is people who like playing BattleTech in a competitive context, these are ice cold takes, but we can rage bait people who are casually into it. Yeah, Garner, speak your truth. What's wrong with the Atlas?
What's wrong with the Atlas? The exact same problem as the Marauder. Oh my god, the Atlas K makes me want to rip my hair out.
Oh, I mean, first of all, it has inner sphere ER large lasers, and those are just sad weapons.
And cannot heat sink them.
Yeah, oh my gosh, does it not even have double heat sinks?
Does not have double heat sinks. It is from the same era as that ERPPC Panther you were raging about, Nicholas.
Oh,
it's from the same.
And you guys
factory.
were the ones that wanted it in the salvage free for all.
I wasn't. I think I said no to that one.
Someone did, because it was in the list, and I watched somebody just be the saddest panda ever.
Yeah, 2 ER large lasers, 2 medium pulse lasers rear mounted.
That's whatever.
A Gauss rifle, and an LRM-20.
Mm-hmm.
Also an anti-missile system. Oi, the K is
Yeah, and okay, so I will do a small hear me out for this mech. I will do the most weak sauce defense possible.
The Coordinator's strongest warrior.
Yeah, no. But listen.
The Coordinator's strongest warrior is here to speak the truth on the K.
Yeah, listen, it can fire 3 of its big weapons at once as long as one of them is another ER laser. However, it also costs 2,100, almost 2,200 battle value. And
you know what I can get for better than that?
you could get, I'm pretty sure, a Highlander for the same price as this thing.
Yep.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, for less than...
You get a Shadow Cat.
Yeah. For less than 100 more BV, you could get a Highlander 732 and just rock this thing straight to the bank.
We should do that comparison here of the 732 Highlander. For a little bit more BV, you get the 732 Highlander, which has a jump of 3, also near maximum armor, SRM-6, LRM-20, Gauss rifle, and 2 medium lasers, and it has the advantage of not ER lasers.
So
granted, it only has 12 heat sinks, but I mean, it generates a grand total of 17 heat. So
the reason you take this is because it can fire the Gauss rifle and the LRM, and you're only down 8 points of damage. But also, it jumps so it can take better positions, and more importantly, I don't know if you've noticed this, it has a standard engine. That Atlas has an XL engine.
Indeedly do.
Ouch.
It is, so even and like they're more or less evenly matched in terms of how much boom they have for explosive weapons on board, but this thing can just bleed that Atlas white from the hills, which is exactly what a Highlander should be doing. But yeah, the Atlas is another one where there are
some viable Atlases, but the majority of them are bad.
The RS is very good. The Introtech version that has 2 large lasers and autocannon 10, and then it downgrades the size of the LRM and the SRM in the torsos. That one is quite decent, but there's also a couple of clan atlases that are okay. The Atlas 2 is okay, but the Atlas, the AS7D is a very
Viable. I think it's viable.
I will put my thumb down on it being not necessarily bad, but it is very specialized.
It brawls.
Yes, it is a mech that requires you to get within 3 to 6 hexes of it to do any amount of good, and it can move a maximum of 5 hexes a turn. So you need to find a reason for the opponent to come to you, or you need to find a reason for the opponent to stay still long enough for it to stomp over to them.
But it is 304 armor for 1900 BV.
This is true. It is a lot of BV, however.
Not a lot of BV. That is cheap for a max armor 100-tonner.
Oh yeah,
you
can play a Tenchi OA for cheaper, and it has 100% armor, but it's a 95-tonner. But also, that thing is evil, and I don't feel well comparing those 2 mechs. So yeah, I will cede you that point. It is a lot of armor for relatively cheap. But I think if you want a lot of armor for relatively cheap, you can just get 2 chargers.
Yeah, another not hot take might be the Hellbringer.
I mean, I don't see anybody running those.
Yeah, we see someone running them. It's you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're the only one who runs them competitively. I see a lot of people posting their lists and their games on various Discords and social media, and they run Hellbringers because it's an iconic clan unit, and people just, the same people who run Kit Foxes run Hellbringers.
I think, okay, so I will come back around on these. So again, I think the reason you bring a Hellbringer is because, 1, if you can get someone with a Hellbringer, it's hilarious. But 2, the Hellbringer is a very good unit for throwing against new players. So if you need a unit which is very good at scaring someone who has never played the game before, and then they feel really good when they kill it, Hellbringers do that job well, because new players don't know the reputation Hellbringers have earnedly as a very expensive suicide boots. They just see, oh my god, that's so many guns and they're pointed at me right now. I need to kill that thing. And they do.
I can imagine Luke running an Op 4 against some terrified new players that's a Kit Fox, a Hellbringer, and a Hunchback 2C.
I should say, normally if I'm running introductory games for people, it is not with Clan Tech, it's with Introtech. But I do that. I run a rifleman into 2D Shadowhawk into people. And it's just okay, here's a million guns that are all terrible on a chassis, which is terrible, and it will explode if you breathe at it too.
I mean, I ran 2... No. Well, I guess technically 2 intro games this week.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, my opponent did bring an Op 4, and she did want to run her Giant Clan Death Boats. So I was like, okay, sure, we'll do 6,000 BV so you can at least bring your Direwolf, because you want to. And my Op 4 against her was a Griffin 2C. I think it was a Griffin 2C2, the one with just 4 streak 2s and an ER large. And then the cheap but bad Nova that's just a large pulse laser and a UAC 5 on a stick.
Oh, that one's so cute.
And then the Ultra 20 Gargoyle.
There's a lot going on in that. It's okay, we have kind of okay Skirmisher, we have okay but budget Skirmisher again, and then we just have meth smoking Larry here to ruin your day and also your kneecaps.
but he's also sprinting up the field to die.
Yeah, meth smoking Larry. Like, what?
But he's in there to just bum rush, make your opponent scared, and then see how much punishment a mech can actually take.
Again, like,
and
I
how
think
it falls out. So there's methods to my madness. All right.
Yeah, the method to your madness is again based on your love of that insane, stupid Devastator. Just like sit down with your phone queued up with the NFL on Fox theme on full blast, ready to go at any time.
Well, I mean, I do love that Devastator, but irrelevant. Irrelevant. One of the biggest things that I see like newer players really struggling with is like, don't be afraid to use your mech.
Yep, people get too timid, so you need to throw a threat in their face and force them to deal with it.
Force them to deal with it.
Remember this for games played, because this comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. When a turkey just stands on a hill telling...
The turkey was not standing on a hill. The turkey was moving forward.
After 4 turns of standing on a hill.
Mm-hmm.
No, it moved forward every turn. It never stood still.
It patrolled around the crown of that mountain. But anyway. And the only reason it did move was because there was a Scarabus poking it in the butt.
Yeah. Listen.
There was no Scarabus. I'm talking about my game with Sam.
I'm talking about your game with me. And then decided to go on a level 0 next to a level 1 with its back to the level 1.
Listen, yes, I made an incorrect move.
Calculated.
He was very scared of the charge, forgetting that there's still a boot.
Yep.
And if we'll talk about that.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, it's this weird risk reward kind of scenario in a lot of games where if you're too afraid to use your unit, it's not going to have the chance to do the work it needs to do to, be valuable and sort of put you in an advantageous position. But you don't want to be overzealous and use it recklessly and have it die without, doing the things it needs to do.
But
Correct.
also, I think the flip side of that is also considering you play a lot of clans, Nicholas, and you've probably seen this a lot from the receiving end. But the way Inner Sphere lists lose into clan lists is the Inner Sphere pilot loses their nerve.
Yep.
Like, the way
it happens.
What do you mean?
The majority of clan lists, and again, not all clan lists, because if you want to play Chargatron 5000 and his 2 little idiot brothers, that isn't necessarily so much of a concern there. But most clan lists archetypically are going to win a long-range fight. So if an Inner Sphere pilot tries to basically hesitate and waffle around at long range because they're afraid of charging in and getting their hands dirty, they are just going to get picked off. The way that Inner Sphere kills clans is by forcing a close range brawl and then beating them at that close range brawl with superior numbers.
Yep. It's called I have more HP than you.
Yes.
Even if somebody dies, you're coming down with us, and we'll end up in a favorable exchange.
That's what I do with that Rakshasa that we all love.
And I will say the Rakshasa AR is a little bit of an outlier because it is a machine which is in some ways designed to be able to hang with clans in long range, in kind of longish range engagements, because 9 hex short is really good on snub-nosed PPCs for kind of wrong-footing people who are always used to having better numbers than you. But even in close range, it can do murderous work if you get within 3 hexes with those SRMs, plus the medium lasers and the PPCs dumping into someone at the same time.
And the boot.
You shouldn't be booting people with that Rakshasa, but listen.
I do.
He does. I mean, you hit with a salvo of Infernos, You get some heat on the opponent. Maybe they shut down. Maybe the ammo explode. Maybe they don't. But they lose movement, and it allows you to get in a better position to potentially boot them.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's true. If your plan is to stun them and then boot them, that's slightly better than just like kind of like pushing the joystick at someone and then trying to kick.
Listen, I've played Garner with the Rakshasa and other people with Rakshasa, and the main difference between playing them is that other people forget about the Infernos. The Infernos are, in my opinion, what really make the Rakshasa charging forward as terrifying as it is.
Yeah.
I make you remember that you have a heat scale.
Yeah, being able to just throw and like it will, if both of those missile salvos connected, it's hitting the heat cap.
Yep.
Like that's
something that actually came up on Tuesday. I got a question from Chris and his opponent. They're like, what is external heat cap? I'm like,
15.
I yes, thank you. I was getting to that. Anyways, so they stopped me from they paused my learning game for a second to be like, hey, what's the external heat cap? And I'm like, 15, but why? And he's like, both MML7s hit. And I said, yes, then 15.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of those max rolling does 14.
Yes. And more realistically, both of them average rolling does 16.
Correct. As you were saying last time when we were in Syracuse. Oh, what's the table for the MML7? 4.
Yeah.
The table is 4.
You're hitting the other person with 4 missiles.
Because it is 4 from rolling, I think, a 4 up until a
8.
9.
Yeah, it's 4 to 8 is 4.
4 to 9.
No, because 9 is where it switches to 6.
No, there's only one 6 and it's a 10. I swear. Let me pull up. I got Total Warfare Online. Weapon size 7. There's one where like it just only has one number on 10.
I have no idea, but I am right, aren't I?
You are.
Yeah. Because again, this is the reason I like them with Artemis, because the average roll becomes 6 missiles.
I feel like we should have a trivia episode with some guests.
That would be a funny show, Nicholas.
We learned this week that several of us, I think at least 4, are heading down to the Richmond Open.
Oh, hang on. Before I forget again. Sorry, I know I need to say this because I forgot like 3 different times. When you're running out the door this morning, there are now open Alpha Strike slots. There's like 4 or 5 of them now. And we're going to be down there for it anyways, so unless you just want to walk around, I would take the absolutely free ticket because it costs $0.
Maybe?
Or sit there and be bored. Well,
I found out my open water dive for my scuba class is happening that week, so I absolutely cannot go. But
boo.
Well, when is your airborne class, for when you're jumping out of planes, you're doing your halo diving, all right? Like, when's that one? So
yeah,
you can combine it.
Yeah, because I'm gonna do like an aerial insertion to go kill Aquaman. Is why I'm getting this, and not so I can, when I'm doing my study abroad thing, I can also be scuba diving it.
Correct.
But no, but yeah, so I absolutely will not be going. However, if you guys, I am willing to, if you guys will humor me, I will come up with some Op 4 lists and I can throw them at you guys and see how they perform.
So where I thought you were going with that was something even cooler, was because you didn't want to have the time to drive down there or anything with us, was that you were just going to have us have like a camera over the thing and you tell us where to move your mechs? and I was gonna be way more excited about that.
Oh, I just like give you guys like one of the like weird telepresence Roombas to like
Yes.
bring with me, and then I just have like a robot arm making all my moves. That would be fun.
Correct. That's where I thought you were gonna go, and I was very excited about that.
No, listen, like yeah, like I try and get them to let me bring like a full list of drone mechs, which actually no. Now that I think about that, I think that's only the Celerity, but
Yep.
oh, that's unfortunate. Or oh no, I just go with the robotic stuff, and then someone like puts like a Faraday bag over the transmitter on the robot and just ECMs me in real life. But no.
Wait, there's a Loki with 4 plasma cannons? I thought it only had 2.
Okay.
Plasma cannons are definitely a curious weapon.
They're good. It's a lot of they require very specific design choices to be effective.
Well, why do you think I needed that coyote?
Eh?
I have a plan.
A plasma cannon plan.
Correct.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
with-
So my experience with plasma cannons is largely in Mega Mech, and when you're getting into an ongoing Mech HQ campaign where you're starting to fight against and seeing, 0-1 pilots, where there's definitely different tricks you have to use, and hitting them with a plasma cannon is a lot of times going to be more advantageous than other things you can do to reduce their numbers and prevent them from just auto hitting you with all of their guns. But even in regular play, those units that have like 3 or 4 and then don't really have any actual firepower are kind of risky, but units with 1 or 2 that make better cost reward sort of trades with plasma cannons, like when you hit with them, they can be really good. It's just finding that balance, because they are pretty high costed in BV. They do take ammo, and they're also very light, and so often units will pack on way too many of them, and then for the BV, the unit just lacks firepower.
Mm-hmm. So I think with the case of the plasma cannon, and keep in mind it does have an ammo restriction. However, the ammo is not explosive.
Correct. So here's why I was looking at it. I was looking at plasma cannons because I realized that you can do some really dumb things where you can just get hard zoned out from objectives and stuff just by elementals existing, or any type of battle armor just existing. And I was looking at it in terms of, let me do something at range. And if I don't have something at range, I can still maybe heat up that laser boat that's sitting on the hill.
Yeah, as a combined arms unit deletion tools, plasma cannons are definitely pretty good.
They're okay, but also like the plasma rifle is just so much better for that job than the plasma cannon is.
But the plasma cannon also heats up the mech.
Yeah, so does the rifle, not by as much.
But only by
it still does
1d6,
it.
not
Mm.
2d6.
Only 1d6, yeah, that's true. But yeah,
Which can't spike you to like shutdown levels, generally. People play it very cautiously. Where hitting somebody with a plasma cannon is like hitting them with an MML7 with Infernos.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe not quite that much, but yeah.
It can go up to 12. The MML7 can go up to 14.
Yeah, that's true. But the breakdown is not quite as good for you. 'Cause you get
Because the average is 7, so yeah, you do like 1 point less heat. But that at least, if they are running close to warm or running close to neutral, even if they go a little over, now all of a sudden it's +1 to hit.
Yeah.
And you're doing it from very far away, because the plasma cannon's 6, 12, 18 versus 3, 6, 9.
No, the plasma rifle is 5, 10, 15.
I was talking about the MML7s.
Ah, okay, yeah, 369. The plasma rifle is a very good sort of side grade alternate PPC large laser, depending on your comparative context. The 1d6 heat on top of the 10 damage is really good and really useful, but because you're lowering the range, switching out to ammo, if it means you can deal heat and deal damage, which is very useful, versus the plasma cannon is just heat. The trickiest part really for me is just because the plasma cannon is only 3 tons and 1 crit, so many mech designs just put a bunch of them on and don't really have an alternate like weapon payload, or like you're paying heavy or assault mech BV for something with a bunch of plasma cannons and not a lot of damage. Personally, I think lighter units that have a plasma cannon and a couple of backup weapons that don't raise the BV too high because of the movement, those can be really good and really useful. I've used a plasma rifle pouncer to pretty good effect before, but you know, like I just think the plasma cannon, I don't have the books to look up right now, but actually no, I have.
So the plasma rifle is 40 more BV than a plasma cannon.
It's 40 more BV, but it's also a weapon that does damage.
It also explodes.
No, it doesn't.
The rifle?
No.
Yeah, I don't think it does. But yeah, the plasma rifle is also 6 tons, 2 crits, which brings me back to the whole problem of, yeah, like the plasma rifles pretty evenly exchange out for an Intersphere PPC. You know, the Intersphere PPC 7 tons, 3 crits. The plasma rifle is 6 tons, 2 crits. You add a ton of ammo on top of that, and it's an even exchange. You make them in and out. The plasma cannon, it's just easy to strap too many of them on because they're so light. It raises the BV of the unit so high that it's just so difficult to pay for it back.
Yeah, you need it to be the sort of thing that you're putting on kind of as a coax weapon on top of a bunch of other stuff. Like the Star Adder that has a plasma cannon is quite good, for instance. As is the Loki Mark II has a version which is quite funny because it also mounts improved jump jets alongside the plasma cannon, so it can kind of be everywhere at once, doing whatever. I do still find it very funny that the plasma rifle is into a combined arm setting, despite the fact that it appears the plasma cannon would be better. The plasma rifle is just unambiguously the better weapon in that matchup because it deals 10 plus 2d6 damage instead of simply 3d6 damage to infantry.
Well,
it's divided into 5-point damage groupings, so.
Yes, it is divided into 5-point damage groupings, which is better into infantry and battle armor and vehicles than a single 10-point hit is. So not only does it get better damage, but also the plasma rifle just magically becomes a better tailored weapon to the threat it's fighting.
Well, my question there is against vehicles, yes, but against infantry, is that 10 damage reduced like other weapons against infantry?
It is. I have it on my phone right now.
Which would make plasma cannons the better anti-infantry weapons, or conventional infantry, I should say.
Nope, it is not reduced.
No, never mind.
It's 10 plus 2d6 no matter what non-mech threat you're fighting. So yeah, you can just it is, the damage is better, which is why it's a more expensive weapon, and it's easier, not necessarily easy, to make a good plasma rifle mech because there are a lot of very expensive plasma rifle mechs, but I think the thing that you were kind of circling around, and this is something that I think Goonhammer quite adequately identified in their write-up of the plasma cannon as a weapon, is the plasma rifle is a supporting heat weapon that also is just a fine payoff weapon on its own. It does 10 damage. It'll do work. Whereas the cannon is a supporting weapon, sure, but it entrusts the mech designer to also give it a decent gun to go along with it.
Yep.
which is something that, as we can find out pretty quickly just by looking at what mechs get made, something you can't always trust mech techs to do. There are a lot of plasma cannon mechs that simply fail to put an adequate payoff alongside their many plasma cannons.
Correct, which is why I like the Coyotal C.
Oh yeah, because this thing has an ATM, 6, an ER large laser, and a plasma cannon. Which is a perfectly cromulent amount of firepower to have.
I think the plasma cannon is in a similar boat to the clan ERPPC, where sometimes the mech designer, or maybe just the trueborn mech warrior in the cockpit, just kind of goes nuts thinking, I want so many of these, and there's definitely some kind of tech in the background going, that's not a good idea. You don't have the heat sinks for that, or that's not a good idea. You don't have any other guns.
What the big problem I have with the plasma cannon is that it generates as much heat to yourself on average that you are dealing to your opponent. So it's effectively a heat transfer.
Yep.
This is true.
In a
7 heat.
best case scenario.
Well, 3d6 on average is going to be...
It's 2d6 heat. It's
2d6 heat.
to conventional forces.
Oh, you're right. 2d6. Never mind. I was thinking 3d6 is the damage. Whoops. Yeah, 2d6 is... Yeah, it's an even exchange, but at least you're prepared for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the advantage.
Yep.
It's guaranteed 7 to you every time. That's design space that neither Catalyst nor FASA has entered into, but random heat aside from streaks is not something we've had to think about for onboard weapon systems yet.
I don't like you putting that out there. Into
I
the
don't
ether.
like that yet.
I think that if the payoff is good enough, it would be really funny. But also, I don't trust it to be. I don't trust that they'll find a way of making it compelling.
Yeah, I would just waiting for the new Battle Mech manual to come out and get a sense of what their design choices and concepts are. I'm so happy they dropped the side table things, and then possibly they're re-ramping BV after the book comes out to determine from their changes. No idea, but it's a wait and see kind of environment right now for, the design choices and methodology for future of BattleTech.
Yeah, and I think overall with relation to the new book coming out, I think the thing that I am most concerned about is the lag that we are seeing seemingly between when a lot of these changes are going to be announced and when BV is going to catch up with stuff. Because I think we can all agree, BV is not necessarily perfect. We did a large episode on the holes you can poke in it, but there is a madness to the method that you can follow. There are kind of core assumptions that are being made, and the concern that I have with some of the changes, and by some of the changes I mostly mean around weapons like the medium-range missiles, are going to invalidate assumptions that BV made, and are going to throw the weapon's pricing out of whack. And I'm wondering how long it takes them to fix those things. Because I don't necessarily know that it's going to be the biggest deal in the world, but depending on how significant some of the changes are, I can see it being quite significant.
Coyotal's a cool mech.
It is.
I've done good work with the C. It was the B was one of my first introductions to, the Ultra AC-10 is actually just a really shockingly good gun.
Yes. Oh no, the B I was debating between the B and the C. The D just looks hilarious to be a supercharger with an improved heavy large laser on a stick.
Yeah, you're stealing Nicholas's thunder and you're playing what is basically a small black lantern there. But the B, for those of you playing at home, has so the Coyotal in general is a 40-ton Omni-Mech that goes walks 7, runs 11. It has almost 100% armor coverage. and it has a decent amount of pod space. The B has an SRM-6, an Ultra Auto 10 with 2 tons of ammo, and an ER medium laser, and it costs the blinding price of 1,447 battle value, which is a steal for that much gun that moves kind of quick.
Yeah, no,
It is
that's
a
a really
great
efficient
weapon, so, I
price.
You can get that with. Isn't there a cicada with like a UAC 10 or something?
There is a cicada. There's a cicada with a UAC 5.
Or am I thinking of the Hermes? I don't know.
The Hermes.
Whatever Nate played against me was like a 40 tonner with like an Ultra 10 that just was vomiting shots on me.
Yeah, you're thinking the Hermes too. It's the.
They were both behind me the whole time, so I just assumed. I didn't actually look to see which one was doing the damage.
Autocannon 10s are surprisingly, I mean, not even actually that surprisingly, but they're good guns just in general.
Yeah, all three variants of them are very solid. The AC-10, just the base one, was always kind of a decent gun, and the ability to use precision ammo and armor piercing is incredibly useful. The Ultra Autocannon is a very, very good brawling weapon that a lot of people poo-poo because people are just scarred by the idea of rolling a 2, breaking the gun for the rest of the game. But it does very good damage. And the LBX-10 is just generically one of the best guns in the game.
Yep.
It can...
The Hermes 2 7A is the one that's got a Clan UAC 10.
Yeah, it's AutoCat 10 is a good number for damage. It's not a head capper, but it's pretty solid. It gets you halfway to a PSR right off the bat. Ultra, if you double tap, gets a PSR. The Ultra, I think AutoCated's kind of going to get a bad rap in some areas of play because they're not like min-max optimized in terms of, if you're customizing mechs, but when you're playing the game and you're balancing and you're choosing forces by BV, what autocannons can do is give you a good weapon that stops the unit from just piling on a whole bunch of other guns that are unnecessary and just pile up like BV costs and make the unit significantly more efficient. Because I mean, looking at the Ultra Autocannon, give me 1 second here. Ultra Autocannon 10 tons clan, 13 tons inner sphere. That is, in theory, 10 plus, medium lasers that could be added on, and that's,
Not comparing things to the medium laser, all right? It's the best gun in the game.
For heat weight efficiency, yes.
Yeah. But it's just, or okay, they could pack on, I don't know, one or more ER large lasers and
2 PPCs.
Or 2 PPCs, and suddenly like you're dealing with heat that you can't, like you can't fire the weapons every turn and so on. So then the BV cost jumps up higher, particularly on some of these units that have a mobility factor to them, so that you like, it's like, oh, it's got an autocannon, it could have a lot more. Yes, and that's good that it doesn't, because you're looking at BV efficiency right now.
Yeah. I will say, I think even if you are just looking at law on a unit by unit basis, it's not great. If you're looking at force building, I would say autocannons tend to be very good team player weapons, especially ultra autocannons, because they are so cheap for the amount of damage they will put out. The Coyote that we already mentioned, but also I think we can also give honorable mentions to Garner. You really like that, what is it, the Jaeger Mechs 7 Double D?
Yep.
And that is disgustingly cheap for a heavy mech that does assault mech grade damage. Star Adder, again, there is a ultra configuration that does kind of a terrifying amount of damage for how cheap it is. There's the Loki T, which is just a comical mech in that it's, I think...
That's such a weird mech.
It's hovering, it's the Loki 2T. It's hovering just around 2,000 battle value, and it can poop out between 40 and 60 points of damage in 10-point hits before you get to the and that's all with a targeting computer. And then the thing it's got an SRM on top of that, but who cares about that? You're there for the Ultra 10s and the improved heavy lasers.
I know I tend to like the Zakus that come with Heat Hawks.
I don't know what a Heat Hawk is. You're gonna have to explain this.
It's the giant mecha tomahawk axe that heats up and melts things.
I also like the Liger Zero Panzer because it just shoots all its guns and then overheats and shunts all its armor.
Did you guys have like a side discussion about Gundam while you were in the bathroom?
No, because I made a Zoids reference since he's making Gundam references.
I knew enough to know that.
Yeah, I've got the Liger Panzer downstairs, the posable one from Japan when I was living there.
I see.
It's pretty sick.
I was about to ask what you were doing in Japan, and I remembered. Oh yeah, he was in the Marines.
Well, actually, that was when I was there when I was 10.
Oh, this was unrelated to the Marines.
It was still related to the Marines, just not me being in the Marines.
Yeah, Garner, noted child soldier.
My Faja.
I see. Oh, I didn't know you were an army brat.
Very funny. Nice joke.
That's not even a joke. That's just I didn't know that about you.
I'm a Marine Corps brat.
Yeah.
The-
Oh, that's true. You were all part of the wet soldiers, not the normal soldiers. I'm sorry, I forgot that's insensitive to your culture.
It is.
All right, so a bunch of us from the Odysseus Legion are planning on going to the Richmond. I think we touched a little bit about this, got sidetracked, mentioned
The
it
Richmond
again,
Open,
and here we
by
are.
the way, not the Richmond, the nice, cool bar that
Yes.
we went to before Vertex on Halloween.
We should.
No,
well,
we were talking about Richmond,
Anyway.
Virginia.
The Richmond Open was it
Eastern Assault is what they're calling the events there for BattleTech, yes. Because I also know the owners, or not the owners, but the people running the Heresy events there and stuff. So there's more than just, unlike Southern Assault, which was just BattleTech, this is more.
And my understanding is the BattleTech part of it is actually kind of a side thing.
It is.
In any case, Garner, our friend Chris, who's recurring guest, our friend Nate, who hasn't made a guest appearance yet, and myself are all registered to play in the Classic BattleTech event. I think Garner and Chris are registered for the Alpha Strike event.
You will be too, excuse me.
Yes, I will most likely be dragged into the Alpha Strike event,
Stop whining.
possibly kicking and screaming.
Stop whining.
And the 7,000 battle value format with scenarios is very close to the Iliad in some ways, and so we have been playing some practice games and engaging with that. I've been playing with a potential list in a couple of things here, so I'm kind of excited.
Yeah, do you guys want to talk about some of the missions that they have in the packet
No.
and the conditions? Yes, you do. I know you do, Garner. I know you have opinions.
I do not have opinions, and I cannot say them on something before the event.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah, we will definitely have some in-depth coverage and conversations about that, considering so many of us are going to be there. Nate, I think we should definitely try to have in as well. A 5-man conversation. Luke can be the outside observer asking questions
On his robot.
Yeah, I can. Coming from it's you live from the bottom of Cayuga Lake. I'm here to do man on the street interviews with all of these BattleTech players in Virginia. Probably, I think the easiest way to do that is it's going to be coverage. Probably. Well, which day does it finish? Is the classic just Saturday?
It's Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday's the BattleTech one.
The Alpha Strike one, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we can do live from your hotel rooms. And then cut to second day. And
I don't think we're going to be recording and having conversations. If we're doing, 3 games of BattleTech in one day, my brain is not going to be in a state to continue talking about BattleTech on a recording,
Fine, then Luke and I will have our
cohesively that
own
night.
with Chris.
no, I'm gonna like send a Force Ghost down with you guys, and I'm gonna force you to do like locker room interviews. Yeah, if they put any of the games on streaming, I can try shoutcasting them.
Don't know if they will.
They absolutely will not.
I mean, Goonhammer lives there. Who knows what they will do?
I feel like it's time to move into games played. Luke, have you played any actual games recently?
I've been sick the last week, so I haven't played a lot of BattleTech. I am going to try as hard as I can to get up to Rochester on Sunday.
Yeah, I was going to mention you are invited. Like, we would like, we would always enjoy your company, but Garn, do you want to go first? You've played a whole bunch of stuff. I would just talk about that game with Sam.
I mean, the only game that I would probably talk about would be my game with you.
Oh, there we go.
Then we're talking about 2 of your games.
Yeah, so why don't I talk about my game with Sam first, and then we can both talk about... It's been a long day. Give my brain the slab for that. So, the game I want to talk about that's just, just a game I played. I had an Iliad match against our mutual friend Sam. Sam had a Lyran Alliance list. I have my Jade Falcon list. I chose to bring essentially a version of what I'm thinking about for Eastern Assault, and we played Raise the Flag.
Yay!
Which is the mission where there are 2 objectives, one associated with each player on the opposite map.
Let's clarify really quick that you were playing your Eastern Assault list with Iliad missions.
Yes,
okay.
With Iliad missions and changed to fit Iliad construction rules. There's not a significant change, but a slight change to mix and match.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure that people didn't think that Raise the Flag was at Eastern. That's all.
Fair. So, yeah, we're playing the Iliad scenarios, the Iliad missions, and it was Raise the Flag. And so there's 2 objectives. One locked to each player. And if you do manage to claim your objective, you gain 10 points. If you manage to hold it to the end of the following turn, you gain 20 points. If you can claim it for 3 turns in a row, it's 30 extra points. So that after 4 turns, you've hit your 80 cap. The game ends. So the goal is to try to control the point for consecutive turns. And if you lose control, you can still claim it back again for 10 points up to 80. So I had a Black Lantern, a Turkina, a Howler, Salamander battle armor, and Stormbird battle armor. Sam, with his Lyran Alliance list. Lyran. With his Lyran Alliance list, brought a Battlemaster, Cavalier battle armor, a Dasher, a Sunder, and a Puma. And ultimately, like we mentioned earlier in the podcast, sometimes people hesitate. Sometimes Inner Sphere players see a big old clan mech and they are afraid to engage. And Sam chose not to engage with his Sunder for an extended period of time, which just let me move my Turkina forward and get in position and sort of make my way across the battlefield. and I ended up winning largely because of that. His dasher did end up getting behind my Black Lantern when I moved my Black Lantern forward to get behind his Puma, and managed to get 2 of the small heavy lasers into the rear right torso, and got 3 crits, which ended up hitting ammo, destroying the torso. I should have used Edge to change the location or stop a crit or done something at that point. I completely forgot I had Edge and wasn't thinking about it. But the Black Lantern did manage to kill the Puma. But from there, his Battle Master had just been consistently taking damage from pot shots from the Turkina and some damage from the Black Lantern. The Howler ended up being the MVP. This was the most impact that my Howler 4, my little punch monkey, has ever had in a game, where in that same turn where my Black Lantern took damage and killed the Puma, I DFA'd the Battle Master with the Howler as a distraction. My whole thought was, he's going to have to turn and engage this Howler, because if the Howler hits on a 5, he pushes the Battle Master back and I gain 10 points. He forgot that a DFA moves the target, and so he didn't engage with the Howler, and instead he focused fire down on the Black Lantern, which, yes, was successful, but the Howler pushed the Battle Master out of the way with a DFA and claimed 10 points. Then, a few turns later, we're basically calling it at this turn, right? We said, okay, we started about 6-ish. We're figuring it's 10 o'clock. Like, yeah, we want to end it. We want to get out. I charge with the Black Lantern, I'm missing a torso and an arm, into the Battle Master. But I'd also stood up with the Howler. The Howler managed to still get the DFA off, but when he landed, he hit his leg that got shot by a stub-nose PPC, went internal. The damage from falling on the leg was enough to destroy the leg. This turn, the Howler managed to stand up on one leg when the Black Lantern, as part of the charge, managed to fall over and die, taking gyro hits. The Howler managed to just stand up and shove the Battle Master out of the way, allowing it to claim the objective for another 10 points, which was enough to win. So the Howler with a DFA and a shove won me the game. The Black Lantern and Turkina just distracted and, kind of...
So, let me interrupt you for a second. He was not standing on the hex with the flag. He was standing adjacent to it, correct?
So the Battle Master was adjacent to it, and there was at least a period of time where there was infantry, both his battle armor and my Salamander battle armor, on the hex, on the objective hex, so the Battle Master could not enter it. And that turn, I think that was the turn where
where your Salamanders killed him?
The turn prior is when my battle armor died. His was there. He stood still with his Battle Master, I think, and I charged in. I masked 2 turns in a row, charged into the Battle Master with the Black Lantern, which then filled the hex because the infantry was still there. I killed the infantry with an Alpha Strike from my Turkina. So the Turkina just deleted the Cavalier battle armor, because I knew if I killed the battle armor and either the Black Lantern survived with the charge or the Howler survived and shoved, I would get 10 points, and it's the final turn. That 10 points was what made the difference. So, well, I might have won without it because he wasn't able to score, but by claiming, we had a conversation where if the game had continued, because I claimed the point right then, I would be able to continue claiming it. He would be able to grab his point probably, but because of the consecutive scoring bonus, there was no possible way he would be able to catch up. So that shove from the 20-ton Howler into the 85-ton Battlemaster is what clenched the game. The one-legged Howler, mind you.
Always a classic of just the tiny horrible little light mech, which is also the thing which is winning you a game.
I'm really learning as I make practicing that sometimes the value of the Howler.
Yeah,
which I could be entirely wrong on, because honestly, Gardner, I'm trying to remember more about our game. I know there was something involved with the Howler.
It fell prone on an objective, and I couldn't take it off the objective. Not because it just was living on the objective, and I could not remove it. I ended up having to send the Scarabus over to just kick it while it's down.
Yeah, the Howler, because of its standard engine, definitely exists in the titanium or balsa wood battle mech state, where Luke, you've had me jump at you with it and you just delete it off the board without a second thought. But sometimes, it lands and it just refuses to give up the ghost, even with you, I don't know, shooting at it with 16 machine guns while it's immobile.
I was about to say, and that was also just a tactical error, because at that point the Howler was completely combat ineffective. That was
the issue that in our game was that it was passed out on an objective on the ground behind a level 1 and a veritable large forest on the other side, so you could not interact with it. And you also could not move the objective, because the game that we played was moving objectives, and you can't move it if you're and you can't charge a downed mech. It was just a whole bunch of bad.
Was this for Richmond stuff?
Yeah,
yes.
This was a Richmond practice. We played one of the scenarios, one of the missions in the packet. Since we played it, we might as well talk about it.
Yeah, we played Push the Line in the Richmond Open setup. I brought my favorite Devastator 10, the production variant of the Muse Earth, that again also is either made of balsa wood or the strongest steel you've ever seen.
No, it's not that it's made of balsa wood, Garner. It's that the pilot has a very large magnet in his pocket.
Yes. Where the only times that it has died has been to headshots, in my experience with this mech. Otherwise, it lives forever. And this is the third time at the end of this game the Devastator lived, because it took crits to its armored compact gyro.
Yep.
Both slots.
I mean, spoiler, if I had gone after the not Devastator on the final turn instead of going after the Devastator, I would have won.
Yes, but he was so focused, because if he had killed the Devastator, he would have maxed out his 100 points.
It was a guaranteed win if I killed it. And
well, that doesn't sound like a guaranteed win then, because that requires you to kill it.
Yep. Like, it was close, but I was also.
Here, I'll show you the. I'll send you the picture, and maybe you can add it to the
video
if you want. Let me see if I can find it. I sent it to somebody because it was stupid. Oh, it either is completely filled out or only loses head. There, Luke, observe. This guy was basically 1v1ing a Turkina.
Oh man, that's you paid for the whole armor and you used the whole armor. You are missing. There's like maybe 40 pips that weren't destroyed on that, and most of that's rear.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And it's not crippled, by the way. It did not end up being crippled.
That's the thing. If it was crippled, I would have won.
Man. Yeah,
So-
no. Built Ford tough ass mech.
Like, and I shit you not, the difference between this sheet and what it looked like when I was done with my game with Perry from Goonhammer was that I also didn't have rear armor. Like both compact gyro armored slots were hit, and that one too.
Okay, push the line.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So push the line in the push the line mission. We each place, was it 3 or 2?
we each place 2, so a total
We
of
each
4.
place 2 objective tokens. There's rules about how they can be spaced, but whenever you get is it on or adjacent? I can't remember, but you
What?
when you manage to claim and interact
You-
with the
you claim-
objective token.
You interact with it directly on.
Yeah, when you're ever on it and you interact with it, you can push it in a number of hexes associated with your mech's weight category. So 1 for light, 4 for assault. And when you push it, you gain 10 points. When you kill a mech, you gain 1 point per 100 BV from the unit. There's a cap in each case to 70 points, and the game ends and you win at 100 points. So the goal is to have sort of like a mix match dichotomy of action. I managed to get 70 points from the objectives fairly fast and easily, and was then just trying to claim to just get some kill points, because once I had claimed the 70, Garner was able to start getting his points pretty close, because I was trying to turn and gain more, and at that point some of my units, like my Howler, was no longer able to move and engage and prevent him from gaining points. And I think it came down largely to
A
bad
very massive couple very massive misplays.
So with my Turkina, I was looking and trying to get in a position where I was thinking about the charge from the Devastator and not thinking about I have a bad habit of forgetting about level 1s to my back. And I wanted to run instead of walk so that I could maximize my shooting. And
Partial cover, it's great. It's your friend. You definitely want to take it all of the time against someone's melee force.
Yep, and I was just thinking, oh, I'm in a position where even if he does charges, it's not going to be that many hexes. This will be fine.
Let me clarify by saying I said he should have moved 1 hex forward.
Yep.
I specifically pointed out you should jump to here instead of running down the hill. You should jump to here.
Yep. It I think ultimately would have been the better move. I do think that luck definitely. I was very unlucky in the end resolution, because you kicked me in the torso. The rear, was it the right or left rear torso?
Right rear torso.
Right rear torso, which got rid of my autocannon, and knocked me over. I fell backwards, and I hit that location. I think I was the one. Yeah, I was the one.
I did exactly enough damage to put it in range to die if it took any more damage.
Yeah, no, 5. I think it was exactly 5.
Exactly 5.
And I hit it for 5 damage when I fell over. So if I hadn't rolled on my back and on that location, I definitely would have been in a better position. I would not have taken the engine hits and the extra heat that slowed it down and so on. So
I'm grinning like an idiot right now. This is why we play BattleTech, folks.
Yep. And it was a combination of, I think you're right, jumping was definitely the jumping was the better move, just not putting my back up there. You could have gotten behind me anyway, but not with the kick.
Not getting your back up there, also getting 2 TMM instead of 0.
I think I still had 1. I don't know.
You didn't. You moved 2 hexes.
Okay. All right. But it was not the right play combined with bad luck. And then I chased down the Devastator with my Black Lantern when I could have masked and gone for your Scarabus. And more likely than not, gotten the kill on the Scarabus, or at least prevented him from engaging.
Both
with
of
the
its arms
objective
had
point.
almost fallen off, so any
Yeah.
damage would have gone straight to torsos, and
Yeah, and that would have. The kill wouldn't have been as many points, but it would have stopped you from gaining 10 points for moving an objective, and that would have skewed the total enough to put me in the win.
it would have done both, because the kill also was another 11 points, so that would have been
Yeah.
21 points instead of 26. Oh no!
Yeah.
Because then you're also getting rid, because 21 to 26 you would have technically lost 5 more points, but it would have been a net gain of 5 points overall for you.
That and crippling the turkey. Getting those engine hits crippled the Turkina and gave you, I think, 16 points?
Whatever half a turkey is.
Yeah, whatever half the turkey is. So between my not jumping, hitting, causing
Like,
the Turkina,
You doubled down on bad choices.
I doubled down on bad choices.
If only one
and
of those
bad luck.
of each of those had happened, it probably would have been fine.
Yeah,
So
I think
what I'm hearing here, Nicholas, is you had the most BattleTech experience possible.
I mean, I got 2 head hits on that Devastator.
Did they mean anything?
It made me sad that my Howler was out of commission, because I would have loved to have attempted to punch it in the face again. It was very close right up until the end. Like, I think it was my game to lose at a certain point, and I lost it.
You snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, Nicholas. I'm so proud of you.
God damn it, I was about to say that.
So, but yeah, like playing Richmond. I'm excited to play some more practice matches on Sunday with people. I am liking my unit composition. I haven't submitted my list yet, and I think the deadline is a little ways away.
Is there
so-
even a deadline? I wasn't even paying attention.
I think it's April something.
Yeah, it's a real long way away.
I'll double check. It's at least not this month. So
I mean, this month only has like 1 day left, so I don't.
Yeah, just like the Pokemon low HP music starts playing, Nicholas. You've got 26 hours to submit a list.
Garner, we have to figure this out.
I mean, I have to either commit or not commit to the not Muse Earth. That's really what I've learned in these games. It is a great scare tactic, and that is it. It does
It's a
nothing
little
else.
It's a little expensive for just being a scare tactic.
It does good at zoning people out, because people are very, very afraid to get anywhere near the damn thing.
Yeah, rightfully so.
And the biggest reason why I don't really want to get rid of it is because it's also my answer to hardened armor.
Oh, it is a relaser mech, yes.
That is the biggest reason. Is that it's not only an answer to hardened armor, it's also an answer if anybody, for some reason, weirdly wanted to bring reflective, but I've never seen anybody actually try and run reflective.
I feel like the gunsmith might get people to do it, but
Oh, you're right, I could bring a gunsmith. Hang on.
oh no.
You put ideas in his head, so
I did put
well,
ideas. in
Garner
his head.
runs off to plan other lists.
No, I can't. It eats all of my frickin' because of the mask. It eats all of my thing, and then I can't bring the
Yeah.
charger because the Devastator, because the Devastator counts as being TMM4 because
Yeah.
if I activate
So-
both mask and supercharger and run in a
Yeah.
straight line with no obstacles, I can be TMM4.
The construction restrictions for Eastern Assault is that you can only bring 2 units with TMM4 or 1 unit with TMM5. Everything.
TMM is the max it could conceivably get.
Yep. So mask and jump count. So you
Or
know, a
mask
jump
and
10 unit
supercharger
counts
together.
for 5. You know, if I brought my Black Lantern J, which I seriously did consider because it, you know, supercharges and masks up to 18, I could not bring any other unit that could possibly generate more than a TMM3.
Which is why my Prey Seeker will not be on display again. It'll just be a little cheerleader on the side. I'm very sad about that.
You can give it pom-poms. It'll be so cute.
I could. It's got little grabby hands. I'll stick little tufts in his hands.
I think, I don't know, I feel like having it include mask and supercharger because those modes have an inherent flaw doesn't seem quite right to me, but
Well, technically,
overall,
jump has an inherent flaw of if you're jumping that far, you're generating a dumb amount of heat. Unless you're partial wing.
Partial wing, or you have improved jets. I mean, ultimately, I think the problem with Mask and Supercharger there, Nicholas, is Mask has a pretty serious penalty. Supercharger a lot less so in a lot of cases.
It has a chance to auto cripple your mech,
On one hand, yes. On
which
the other
is
hand,
a lot of points because you cripple point
yeah, the main thing
at the end
is
phase of every turn.
the balancing mechanism for their speed is that there are inherent drawbacks, and so I don't think it's right necessarily to count them as their highest TMM for this kind of list restriction.
We can have this discussion left and right, but I am of the opinion that Mask and Supercharger, I would much rather the ceiling be considered, and as opposed to it getting undervalued by the floor of what you can do with it, and then someone having a bad game experience because they feel like their opponent is cheating.
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
Like,
So, but then
I would rather people be annoyed about something that they can't bring than someone feel like they're getting angle shot.
it's
So-
not a hill to die on.
So, like,
Yeah.
my issue with the Mask Supercharger counting towards the TMM
Mm-hmm.
is that, or not even just like Mask Super, just ground movement TMM, I feel like is a drastically different animal than jumping TMM. Jumping TMM is guaranteed. Ground movement is, God forbid you have to make a turn. The Prey Seeker is a
That's
12-18. If I have to turn, all of a sudden my TMM5 is gone. If there is
That's
a
true.
hill, my TMM5 is gone. Like, that's my issue with, like, TMM from ground movement is a drastically different thing than TMM from jumping movement. And
Yep.
this is the only event that I've seen that limits ground movement.
It is, and I think you can like put a point on that, but also at the end of the day, it is, if you want to keep people from consistently getting TMM5 for the purposes of rules legibility, again, it's much easier to say, we're policing the ceiling here, nothing with TMM5, nothing with the ability to generate TMM5 is going to be allowed, than saying no jumps that can generate TMM4 or 5, and also, but TMM on the ground is fine as long as it's under some arbitrary like MP restriction, and then someone finds, again, a way to kind of angle shoot. So, like, it's annoying, but yeah.
For a simplified rule, I think I think it has flaws, but to correct the flaws makes it potentially overly complicated.
I mean,
And
I don't know. I don't see how a mech that, like, that Prey Seeker eats both of my TMM4 slots because it can possibly get TMM5. Or the Devastator, where I have to dodge a bullet 2 times on myself to get to TMM4. Like,
Yeah.
it's just it. And to possibly get, and again, like it's not guaranteed. It's not an every turn thing that I'll be able to do that. at some point I have to turn. With jumping, you just go. Like, I don't know, it's just the restriction that like everywhere else has for the most part, where it's like, restricting jump 7 in some variety, or jump 7 plus in some variety. Sure, that makes sense. Because that's an easy thing to A, police, and B, is the bigger issue of high TMM. Because like the big issue with, TMM 4 and 5 is getting that TMM 4 or 5 plus woods.
I mean, I can kind of understand it in this of trying to limit people. I guess I might say it'd be nice if it was separate from jumping away. I mean, people would bring like a bunch of dashers and some other stuff, and I don't know, like
I'd be okay if like the ground move in TMM5 being limited to, it's like, I would say like the way that I could see that is either have up to 2 units that are either jump TMM4 or higher, or 4, or ground TMM5.
Yeah.
You've now solved the fringe case. Because a lot of things stop at like 10, or I guess 11 hexes or 18 hexes as like their upper limits on their ground movement. That just, if you're the straight line thing is just like what's blowing my mind.
Yeah.
And like that's what I have a problem, is that things that you have to go in a straight line. So basically all the stars have to align to get that max TMM. And it's being judged just as harshly as somebody that can ballerina in the sky the whole game. Into woods, so they're actually going to be like effectively TMM 6 or 7.
Oh, they use the advanced active probes rule.
Yep. But thing to know, ECM turns it off. Thank you, Scarabus.
Yep. But I had 2 units with active probes, and just, other than me not realizing he had an ECM, it's just a common play error of sort of not communicating about equipment or not recognizing it. Maybe you asked me if I have anything that cares about ECM.
I did at the start of the game. At the start of the game, I asked.
But you also didn't tell me you had ECM. I think we
But-
both made errors in that and should have known it, because I also told you I had active probe.
Well, I didn't think about it. I think of active probe for like.
Yeah.
Or-
So neither one of us
Yes.
realized that active probe was turned off by ECM. So
I mean, I knew that. I just didn't know that. Like because I know that it works like that in Alpha Strike. That's why. Like, but then things are just so almost the same between Alpha Strike and Classic that.
it's one of those, like, I think we're both at fault. When you asked about ECM, I should have known that active probe did it, but then I also told you at active probe, so you should have recalled that ECM blocked it. But in any case, we ended up using the rule, and it's gross. I still don't like it.
And here's the weird part that is janky, and I think it needs to be clarified. Active probe should count alongside pulse to limit pulse, because because you're still effectively giving you a -3 at A range, just like a VSP.
On one hand, yes. On the other hand, they were very specific about it not being the ability to negate points of bonus in general. It was specifically TMM. Like, that was the way it's written into the rules for
Precision counts. A target computer precision counts.
And targeting computer precision counts, and targeting computer precision counts specifically because it's attacking TMM, not
Active probe is woods.
general penalty instead of woods specifically. Like, the way it is that
That's still splitting hairs.
I know it's splitting hairs, Garner, but the way it is worded, it seems specifically like they wanted to invite this interaction in particular.
Yeah,
Also really
because
funny
a lot of people feel bad when they have an active probe and it doesn't do anything, and they like to whine about it.
But also really funny thing that another mech that I was considering triggers the pulse limit because it's an Artemis 5 LRM-20 with actuator enhancements.
Oh, that's hilarious. What were you thinking of?
It's I think not an Inferno. It's oh my god, a Doloir.
Oh no, bring it, send it, ship it. That thing is I think I know the one you're talking about, and that's a goofy mech.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, it's the Doloir OC. It has a lance, LRM-20 with Artemis 5, 3 streak 6s, an ER medium, or 2 ER mediums, and 1 ER small pulse laser, which does not trigger pulse because it's only -1.
It also is a
So-
C3 master if you care about that.
Oh, it does.
Garner's got some creative things to plan before Sunday.
Yep.
The streak 6s are in the legs too, so I can lance and streak. Interesting. I forgot they were in the legs. Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
So Luke, I recall you didn't really have a game to talk about.
No, I do not have a game to talk about, but I am excited to probably try getting one this coming week.
On Sunday.
Fantastic.
Yes.
All right, so as always, thank you guys for joining me on this episode.
Yeah, no
And,
problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Catch you guys later.
Later.
Yep. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Odysseus Legion podcast. This podcast was created by the Odysseus Legion, a BattleTech club organizing play around Central and Western New York State. Rules for all of our formats, as well as a calendar of Odysseus Legion events, can be found on our website, odysseuslegion.com. All music and audio in this recording was licensed through Adobe Stock or open source. All views expressed herein are those of the person expressing them and do not necessarily represent the views of the Odysseus Legion, Catalyst Game Labs, or the Catalyst Demo team. Anyway. What the fuck were we talking about?
Oh no, I guess Luke
Plasma
was asking
cannon.
me something as I ran away.
I said something about, I don't even remember. It was maybe something about plasma cannons, maybe something about something else.
All right, we've talked about bombs in formats. Garner, how do you feel about Carnov Down?
There we go. It's moving now. We're good. As I said, don't worry about it. I've got a plan.
Alright, it's just me in the chat right now. I still have control. I'm gonna start listing out actionable threats against named persons, such as Alexander Kerensky at this time. No. Alright, Nicholas, there's your end roll. Bet